What is going on, people? TripleM back again with another video, and today we're going to talk about England as they unsurprisingly lost to France 2-1 yesterday evening and were sent crashing out of the Qatar World Cup in very heartbreaking fashion. And you know what? All things considered, I think England actually played well. In fact, I'm going to say something ludicrous. I am going to say that I think that was England's best performance, and I'll explain why. I think that against Senegal, they were great. Against Iran, they were obviously great. Against USA, they were terrible. Against Wales, they were great. But this one is different because it was against France, who are still, by the way, the current world champions. Let's just apply that context. So when you consider that, they were actually pretty decent yesterday evening. Unfortunately, they just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net when it counted. They had more total shots on target, more touches in the opposition box, and I believe more chances created than France. According to SofaScore, they had one extra big chance created over France. So they had 3 big chances created throughout the entire 90, whereas France only had 2. The difference is France were more clinical. France were more ruthless. France actually took their chances and ate their dinner, whereas England squandered an opportunity. And I say England, but we all know who is responsible. This man here. And it's funny because I used to get a lot of stick back in the day talking about Harry Kane. I mean, I remember in high school, people would rave on about how great Harry Kane was. And I'd be like, I'm not too sure. And people would get so offended. How dare you say Harry Kane isn't a good player? And it's like, I've never said he's not a good player. I've always praised Harry Kane's ability. I've always said Harry Kane is a phenomenal striker and is a phenomenal target forward. My issue is his legacy. He won't have much of a legacy if he continues down this road. I don't think he gets another opportunity like that. I don't think he gets another moment to be the hero of his country, to be the savior of his people, to be the one who sent them through to the next round against France. Yes, that penalty would have only equalized the game, but I genuinely believe, along with a lot of other people, both England fans and neutrals, that if England had equalized and scored that penalty, they would have gone on to win. Imagine if Harry Kane single-handedly was the reason that England went through against France, against all odds, and were playing against Morocco in a semi-final, which they could potentially win, and then went on into a final. That would live forever. That would edge him as probably one of the greatest strikers in history for England. But unfortunately, he bottled it. And it's not the first time he's done this. Harry Kane, for some reason, just can't get over the line. At club level, it's because he just hasn't left Tottenham. But at international level, there's no excuse. He's got Bellingham, Rice, and Henderson behind him. He's got Saka, he's got Sterling, he's got Foden, he's got Rashford, he's got some of the best attacking players in the Premier League next to him. Behind him, he's got some really talented midfielders. There's no excuse. There's just no excuse. And again, don't twist my words. I'm not saying that Harry Kane isn't a great striker. I'm saying that in terms of the legacy aspect, it's lacking. And legacy is important, man, because Harry Kane fans will tell you, trophies don't matter. What? They absolutely do. Why do you think people will remember Messi and Ronaldo? Why do you think people still talk about Diego Maradona even though he's not here? Why do you think that people will continue to talk about Pelé after he inevitably passes away? Why do you think people still talk about Cruyff? Why do you think people still talk about all these great players despite the fact that they're either not playing football, they're either no longer on this earth, or they're just not involved with being a professional football player anymore? Because of legacy, memories. In order to be remembered as a great player, oftentimes you need moments of magic. You need big goals in big games that people will tell their grandkids about. People will tell their sons, their nieces, their nephews, their daughters, their uncles, their mothers. You need to create moments that football fans can reminisce about if you truly want to be remembered as a great player. That is a fact. That is an undeniable fact. Nobody cares about goals against dead rubber teams that don't lead to anything meaningful. That's just the truth. Only Tottenham fans will care. Only Tottenham fans will remember it because they obviously have a special relationship with Harry Kane and maybe some England fans. But what has he really done in an England shirt that makes you go, wow, this guy's a phenomenal striker. This guy's the GOAT. This guy's the undisputed best striker I've ever watched play. What has he done? Which moment has he delivered to you that actually makes you think, wow, if it wasn't for this man, England wouldn't have won this World Cup or won this Euros or won that or won that? There isn't any moments. And this is the thing. This is the thing. But Harry Kane fans, they don't understand it. They don't get it. And it's fine because we all see football in a different way. Some people will hold him up there as one of the greatest strikers they've ever watched, and they'll remember the goals he scored even though they weren't that important in the grander scheme of things because they just genuinely love the player and they appreciate his ability. And that's totally fine. But for me, I don't get it, fam. I don't get it. The players I love, the players I remember, it's because they actually won things. It's because they delivered special moments. Luka Modric, 3-peat, baby. 3-peat, 3 back-to-back Champions Leagues, and then some. And then some. He went to win more. 4 Champions Leagues in the space of 6 years. That's why I remember him. Sergio Ramos, Toni Kroos, Casemiro, Marcelo, Carvajal, Casillas, Ike Casillas, 2014, Atletico Madrid, last minute of the game. Ramos at the other end, goes to extra time. Di Maria, Ronaldo penalty. You know why I remember that? Because it was iconic. It was iconic. Last minute of the game, big goal, big player, UCL win. That's what you remember as a football fan. And this is the thing. You need legacy. You need legacy. But let's stop talking about Harry Kane. Let's talk about this man. Let's talk about Gareth Southgate, because where do you stand? Let me know in the comments down below if you're still watching. Where do you stand on Gareth Southgate? Because for me, I've said for a while that this guy, he ain't it. He ain't it. And it's funny because after the Senegal game, I saw a lot of England fans on YouTube, on Twitter, apologizing to Gareth Southgate, saying I was wrong about Gareth Southgate. And I was like, really? Tell me more. And let's see if you hold this opinion a few weeks from now when you get knocked out by France. I wonder where those people are now. I wonder if they're still apologizing, because how can you praise someone for getting knocked out in the quarterfinal with the squad he had? I'm sorry. I think England should be challenging for the World Cup. France is a difficult opposition. France are the current World Cup holders. I get it. But England have some great players. All my life, England have had some fantastic players. They've had some fantastic players. And this World Cup squad that England had, yeah, all right, there were a lot of players who were left out of the World Cup squad that should have traveled. But still, there's a lot of talent in that team to warrant making a World Cup semi-final or a World Cup final. Why is it okay for Gareth Southgate to continue to get away with this type of stuff? Why is it celebrated like he's the underdog, like he overachieved by getting to the quarterfinals? He didn't overachieve by getting here. It's not a great achievement. It's not a proud moment. At least I don't think it is. Maybe some of you disagree, but for me, this is not a proud moment. This is not something to wake up as an England fan and go, you know what? Even though we got knocked out by France, I'm proud of the team because we made a quarterfinal. Raise the standards, man. Raise the standards. If I was like as a neutral, it makes me want to pull my hair out that England fans aren't more demanding. Because if I was an England fan, I would really, really, really be upset. Because you guys have so much talent. I wish my country had the players that England had. I wish my country had the players that England had. They're so good. I watch these guys on a daily basis in the Premier League. And some of them in other leagues. Because obviously like Jude Bellingham doesn't play in the Premier League. There's no excuse. They're good enough. They're absolutely 1000% good enough. The only person who isn't good enough is the man in the waistcoat. Just my opinion. You may disagree.